Welcome to the S.O.A.P.
Alright, I can start us off in the intro, and then we'll go from there. Everyone happy?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome back to the S.O.A.P. I'm Mike. We've got Aaron, Arthur, and Dan here, and tonight we're going to be talking about Supanova, which was a convention last weekend down in Sydney. Luckily enough, Dan went down to it, and Dan can tell us a bit more about what he saw, what happened, and what things we're going to be talking about tonight.
Now, you're normally a regular there, Mike, aren't you?
Usually, yes. I've been, I don't know, the past 2-3 years. I do a bit of cosplay myself. Usually, I like to do the groups and stuff. I went down last year. I did on a Saturday. It was a horror theme, and I dressed up as Mike Myers from Halloween, and apparently scared a few people. And on the Sunday, it was like a Sin City theme, so I dressed up as Dwight McCarthy, who had the red shoes, and we're all dressed in black and grey. It was pretty good. This year I couldn't make it, and Dan took my place.
Didn't take your place,
So-
you're meant to join everyone. But the cosplay is a large section of the Supanova event. They do dedicate entire panels, areas to it all. This year they had a lot of Star
Were there
Wars
any
stuff.
professional cosplayers?
Star Wars was the go this year.
Yeah.
I believe that they were trying to do the largest amount of Star Wars cosplayers or something like that. But they had a specific section with people all dressed up, Chewbacca, you know, Darth Vader, all those kind of things. And you could literally just walk up, stand next to them, and get your photo with, you know, as though you were getting photos with the real characters and that. So there was a large line of all of them available to have photos. They then had a wall of lightsabers with all the different styles. And people were reenacting scenes and fights throughout the entire day that I was there. And I assume that that was across the 3 days. I believe you've done a bit of the fighting with the lightsabers, Mike?
Yeah, I've got it's called what's it called? It's just lightsaber combat. Yeah, lightsaber fighting. They use actually specially made lightsabers that are actually able to be hit against. So you can't just go and buy one from Big W or Kmart because that'll just go to smash. These ones are actually done like a fiberglass core with a light inside, and you just can whack at each other and it really hurts. There is a group down in Sydney who do it. You've also got the 401st, something or other, 401st, which is like a Star Wars clones name, and they'll do proper dressing up and dress up as the stormtroopers. Were there plenty of stormtroopers running around, Dan?
No, there was a couple in the cosplay section and that to get your photo with. But walking around, there really wasn't that many on the day that I went anyway. On the Friday or the Sunday, there could have been a lot more. There is actual, I don't know about Australia, but I believe internationally there are actual like martial arts schools dedicated to Star Wars fighting. Is that correct?
There used to be one in Lithgow. I don't know if he's still there anymore, but apparently he calls himself a Jedi Master or something. And I never actually got a chance to go to him, but I've got mates who've done it and stuff like that. Yeah, it helps people if they want to do the Jedi. You know how they have the whole thing where it's like a Jedi religion and you do the census and stuff.
Yep.
So maybe that's a prerequisite to be part of that religion. Who knows? There is another group I think that was called hell.
Were they the guys that did the EB Games Expo? That they had the lightsaber battling?
Yeah, I think so. I just can't remember the name.
Well, I believe you're also very much into that. Is that correct, Aaron? You dress
Oh,
up as with the Jedi outfits.
I've been
and...
known to don a Jedi outfit from now and
Ooh.
again.
I didn't know this, Aaron.
It's been a while.
Yeah, okay. Well, I do have 3 costumes that, we could do next time. And,
Excellent.
I'll be Darth Vader.
He does offer at every event that there is. Essentially, it's like, hey, I'm going to this. He's like, do you want this outfit?
Yeah, I keep trying to get Dan to go dress up as either Jon Snow, or I was like, I got some Star Wars stuff. I can put you in the thing. You got the beard and stuff. Let's do it. And he's like, no, he doesn't want to do it.
Jon Snow. That would be easy.
Yeah. You see, that's what I said.
And then you could just be like running around with a confused look on your face because you know nothing.
That's right. I got told like this because it's Jon Snow, and I know nothing. But winter is coming because it's right here, and I love my sisters and my brothers, but they're all assholes.
Dead.
That's a pretty good film.
It wasn't bad actually. I'm quite impressed.
But that's pretty good.
Yeah, I need words. Needs work.
I've Jedi'd up a few times. I haven't done any lightsaber battling. I have a non-battle ready FX lightsaber though.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a dude.
Saber Forge is so with it.
There's some dudes that used to do the EB Games Expo. They're probably the same guys, and they had
I think so.
a whole stack of the hard fiberglass ones, and they were pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, I should have showed you when it came around the other day. Yeah. I think the batteries died, so we got to change battery.
How fucking expensive are the battle?
Very. So a base.
Yeah.
So say for instance, let's talk about this, shall we? Now there are multiple options you can do. You can customize your lightsaber to whatever you desire. However, you have a grab a bag, random thing selected, which is like a hilt and stuff for $50, and you're like, cool, all right, that sounds cheap, man, awesome. That is just a hilt. There is you've got to add on things. So you want to, so that's $50, as they say.
Oh, that's not
okay. That's not too bad. You're right. Yeah. But then you want to add on a blade. That's $200. You want to add another second blade. That's another $150. You want to have coloring to your blade. That's another $100. You want to have sound effects. That's another $200, $300. Then you want to have specialized hilts. Well, that's going to cost you another $200. So it racks up to be $800 to $1,000, depending on what style you want. I managed to grab mine at $400 something dollars because I kept mine. I did a grab bag, and I did a just basic blue, and I did a basic thing, and I managed to grab a spare blade, and yeah. So some would say money well spent. I would say probably yes, because it's a lightsaber.
I would say
yes. Some would say, whoa, my shit, like that's fucked. You might as well so you can grab Aaron's one that are like non-fighting one, and they'll be like $200-$300 give or take, and that'll have like all your special effects and your sounds and stuff. But if you whack someone with it, it will break like like a fluorescent light. Most likely.
it has a little bit of play. Like you can lightly tap someone with it, and it makes a shing sound. But if I thump you with it, it will break, and then I will cry.
That's right, because that's money he went down the drain for. I should have showed you the other stuff. So I bought a bunch of the toy ones from Big W or whatever that you can just kind of whack people with, and I used to whack my housemate with them, and we'd like break some of the LEDs. So you'd have like the full the blade, and then you'd be missing a segment in the middle. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. And I put pool noodles over it. And ta-da! So you can whack people with that. So that's what color is your lightsaber?
It's pool noodle. I've got Darth Maul's lightsaber.
Oh yeah, okay. Just get some red pool noodles. Yeah.
Because I only had one half. I couldn't get the other half.
Yeah, right.
If anyone has a Darth Maul FX lightsaber, I'd love to complete the set. I really would.
Well, Toys R Us, I think, last time I checked, had them still running around.
It's a Series 1, though, so it's got to be the same, so you can screw them together. Then I can have my big Jedi...
That's right.
Not Jedi, my Sith.
Uh-huh.
And then get
Do you have a Sith costume?
No, I have a Jedi costume, so I'm mismatched.
Mismatch. I did for mine. Our generic Sith costume was karate gis, and I got 2 of them. Well, really, I was supposed to get 1, but the first one was too small. But you can say, for instance, because they're like $30, you just get 2 of them. You make one a vest, and then you put the other one on top, so it's got layers, and then you fancy belt, and kaja, there you are. You got a very basic Sith costume.
Yes, my Jedi
black
costume was made.
Yeah, okay.
But yes, moving on.
Back to the Supanova that we hijacked from Star Wars.
Well, I was just wondering if Arthur has done any of that kind of stuff.
What, like dress up Star Wars shit?
Yes.
Any of it?
No.
Dress up, sexy nurse, something like that, you know?
Arthur's.
Well, I'm not
Arthur's
even that
already
into Star Wars. Like, surely you know this.
Yeah, it's true. Yes. I was gonna say, but he hates Star Wars.
I don't hate it. It's just not an IP that appeals to me, and on like a deep visceral level. I don't have like an emotional attachment to it like everyone else does.
Well, I do think we should do a dress up. We should do a dress up and take some photos, and we like the S.O.A.P Star Wars stuff. That'd be good. Let's do that. We're booking it in. All right, good. That's fine. You just need to smile. And we'll get Dan in it, because Dan's got the beard.
I'll get a frontal lobe lobotomy, and then I'll be smiling.
Bag's doing it.
Like, I mean, what's not to like, though? It's got, space lasers and swords made out of lasers and Darth Vader.
Everything's out of lasers.
Pew, 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 pew.
That stuff's fine. Like, I like all the science fantasy stuff. I find the story really lame.
Well, it was a Western in space, though. Like, it was never meant to, be studied by literacy professors for millions of years to come. It was...
Yes, that's
like,
true, but
George Lucas
it's
was
Arthur.
Just like, I need a storyline.
That's all fine. I'm saying, like, I can't have an emotional attachment to something that doesn't have that kind of visceral appeal.
Yeah.
If it doesn't touch me in places... in the good way, not the bad way.
It touched me. Tell me where it touched you.
Show me on the Wookiee doll where he touched me.
That's right. Well, anyway, back to Supanova.
That's why George Lucas couldn't have killed my childhood, because I never had.
That's right. Well, he didn't have a child.
Aww.
Violin plays next podcast. Righto. So we had some special guests at Supanova. So we had the Chris Hemsworth. You had your Terry. What's the name again?
Before you even go down that path, they had Star Wars specific guests there. So you had Tamura Morrison, who you know as Jango Fett. That.
That's right.
So he was there.
It was the Clone Army.
That's right.
Yes.
And then you had a lot of people, in particular, involved with Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Adrian Wilkinson, Jennifer Hale, who also does FemShep for Mass Effect.
That's who I wanted to meet, but just for FemShep, not for Star Wars.
Right.
Adam Nichols is there, Wayne Nichols. Like, there was a bunch of Star Wars specific things to reinforce that. So they really had a strong Star Wars showing at the event. But yes, Chris Hemsworth was the big name of the event. Obviously, we know him from things like Avengers, playing Thor, Ghostbusters, Star Trek, like a long list of things.
Yeah.
And he, like, photos with him were a bit over $200 in that. But if you wanted to for free, you could just go see one of the panels, listen to him talk. They're normally quite good because they give a lot of insight about the actual experience that the actor has in the industry. So what it's like.
Did you catch any of his talks?
No, I missed it. He was on the Sunday and I went on the Saturday.
Oh, that's right. You're on the Saturday.
I didn't actually get to see him personally, but I did hear he was quite good. And yeah, look, it's Chris Hemsworth. We all love him.
Did you see your mate Christopher Judge?
No, I saw him a year or two ago when he came down.
Right.
I thought about going to see it, but it was just a overlap in things that were going on. His stuff with God of War, though, at the moment is looking quite amazing. I don't know if everyone followed E3 this year and last year.
Tried
yes
to.
or no?
There's a lot of fluff this year.
Yeah, there's a lot that we'd already seen, but
yeah.
If you watched last year's E3 with God of War, you'll see Kratos in a whole new light compared to the way he's been painted in the past.
So this is the one where he's going after the Norse gods, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is a Norse theme as opposed to, was it Egyptian before? Greeks?
Greeks. So I think he's killed pretty much all of the Greek gods, so he's got to find another race of gods to kill off.
Yeah.
And then have sex with their women.
Oh,
That's right.
well,
In
in the
quick
past
time
he has...
events.
In the past, he has been a shallow character. He has had a proper storyline behind it, the death of his family and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, overall, the games were a hack and slash, and the storyline was pretty, surface
The
level.
storyline came second. Because the games were just that good.
Yeah. They are actually good games, but that's not the point. The new God of War is actually very story-driven. So we saw last year Kratos and what seemed to be his son interacting, and you see the past Kratos and the gruff and kind of unloving nature that he was, where he's going along and he kind of yells at the kid, not really knowing how to interact with the kid. And then as the video's going along, you see him slowly like lighten up a little bit and be a bit more empathetic towards the character, and you see a real bond growing between them. And he's still a bit harsh and tough with the kid, but in a nurturing way as the video goes along. And the voice...
So you start to care for this character.
Yeah, definitely. It adds a lot more personality than we'd seen in the past, and Christopher Judge is really bringing that out quite strong in those ones.
Nice. It's good to see.
Also, you've got him in, obviously, Stargate, which is his big, well-known thing.
Indeed.
I'm sure you've all seen Stargate?
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, what's that?
It's a thingy where the stars and the gates go
There's
through
a
the
gate
gates.
and
Chevrons,
And it starts.
et cetera, et
And you
cetera.
can pay money to have a selfie with them.
MacGyver in space, wasn't it?
Well,
Well, it's not in
it wasn't,
space,
well,
really.
it wasn't really MacGyver-ish either.
Richard Dean Anderson,
Just-
for those playing along at home.
That's right.
I'm sure more people would recognize MacGyver than they would know his actual name.
Yeah.
Oh, well, don't forget you've got Patty and Selma, though, made him fairly famous.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Even did they ever use his actual name?
Yeah,
They
they kidnapped Richard Dean Anderson once, and then he had to use his skills from playing MacGyver to get out of their clutches.
And then he's like, I want to come back again and again. They're like, ugh, let's get away from him.
Yep.
Kick him out.
I still
Very
don't
good,
understand MacGyver. I've only really seen the first episode, and it turned me off at that much. Where he gets like a chocolate bar and plugs the nuclear crack in the fucking thing before it explodes.
What do you not get about MacGyver?
That he stopped a nuclear explosion with a chocolate
He
bar.
throws chickens and they explode. Come on, we've played this. Rifles.
He MacGyver's things. Hence his name.
MacGyver is kind of like the ultimate survival expert who turns, I'll just turn this computer into a supercomputer, or these bits of chocolate wafers into a machine gun. It's
Turn
just,
a block of ice into a laser and melt a lock.
And then there's a whole TV series of
The thing is, right?
lasers.
So we had all of these seasons of MacGyver doing weird and wonderful, crazy shit with like toilet rolls and hairpins and stuff.
Yeah.
And always beating the bad guys. And you're like, yeah, okay, so that's all good and well. It's television, but did you ever stop to think that there has to be a real MacGyver? Because someone keeps coming up with this shit to put on the television. Like one of the writers is like sitting back going, yeah, I did this back in the day, and by night I'm a bounty hunter or something, and this is how I live my life, and I just write this into TV scripts.
There probably is a real person who goes, you know what, I've made this thing, and bye-bye.
So there's got to be some dude that comes up with all these fucking ideas on how to turn a yo-yo and a banana into a nuclear reactor, right? So
Sure.
Is he like, the supervillain by night, and by day he's just writing scripts for MacGyver?
Maybe he works.
Very dedicated writers.
Yeah,
Maybe he also works for Mythbusters.
Maybe it's Adam Savage. No, it'd definitely be James with just that moustache. Like that's a supervillain moustache.
Damn straight.
You mean Jamie?
Righto, back to Supernova. So, did you see anyone else do panels and stuff, Dan? What was a...
Oddly, the big one that I saw was Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain, which you'll know from Lois and Clark.
That's right. Superman, save me.
You'll also know Dean Cain from Aeroplane vs. Volcano, which is probably his best movie.
And Supergirl, he's got a bit of a role in that, doesn't he?
Yeah, not as good quality.
Not as good.
He plays
secondary.
Supergirl's human father.
That's right. He's her daddy.
Yes.
Terry Hatcher also makes an appearance in there as well. But yeah, so they were quite good. They haven't really stayed in touch much from back in those days. But they were talking a lot of interesting stuff from what used to go on there. I believe the show actually got cancelled because Terry Hatcher ended up getting pregnant, and they couldn't continue the show obviously around that, which left them
Dean Cain's kid.
No, they didn't mention if that was the case. Dean Cain was actually quite enjoyable to listen to. I'm not really a Dean Cain fan, but he certainly sells himself quite well, whereas she wasn't as interesting to listen to. She did sing though. They brought up one of the episodes where she sung.
She sung?
She actually sung, and she was, I'm not going to lie, she was actually pretty decent.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be a really cringeworthy moment of that, but she actually busted out with a proper song and really well. So I give her a bit of respect for doing that. Just, on the spot, hey, do you remember this episode from 20 years ago? Sing that song. And they said she did. It took her a moment to build up to it, but yeah, she just did it. No mistakes, sounded perfect. And I was like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty impressive.
I don't remember that show really at all. I remember that it existed.
Yeah, I think because Smallville came along afterwards and disappointed everyone for 7 years.
Yeah.
Which they also appeared in.
Yeah,
but I never
that's true.
watched Smallville.
See,
Smallville was a big pile of poo for me.
Exactly. It was a pile of poo for everyone.
Kryptonite poo.
You didn't ever see fucking Superman.
Smallville was the teen version of Lois and Clark, essentially.
Yeah, it was like Buffy, but shit.
It was like Merlin. It was taken after Merlin, apparently. They said, hey, we'll have someone who's red, white, or it was the other way around.
Merlin was heaps later.
The other way around. That's right.
But no, Smallville was more for the teen audiences and that. They're going through school, and that's where the orientation
puberty
is.
And adolescence.
Most people here would have been a bit older than that kind of era, so that's why it didn't resonate as well. But it wasn't the worst show out. It gave an alternative look at, those characters and that, and you can't fault them for it. Just like Lois and Clark gave an alternate look to Superman and Lois, and they talked a lot about the fact that Lois wasn't so represented as a...
Wait, what do you mean
character?
Older? Are you saying I'm too old for Smallville?
Yeah, we grew up with the Adventures of Superman. Not really with Smallville. We were all older when Smallville came out. Right?
That can't be right, because maybe Aaron, because he's an old fuck, but I'm fucking Smallville I was still a teenager.
Hey, look, kids these days into entertainment.
Well, Smallville finished in 2011.
Yeah, but when it started, I was still in high school.
I watched it when it started, and I was like, oh yeah, it's awesome, but then I got a bit too old for it. And...
Oh, okay, meaning you grew up faster than the show did.
Yeah, but like I said, it was aimed at teenagers, so...
I mean, I didn't like it then either, but I mean, that's... Yeah. That sort of took my...
Yeah, okay.
Took me unawares. I'm like,
it freaked you out.
I'm fucking
sure.
my age. What the hell are you talking about?
No, you're actually really old, Arthur. Because what are you, 40s
You're
now?
old as fuck. Yeah. 102.
50s, yeah. So, for
50s,
everyone listening, Arthur's quite an old
Silver
man.
Fox. George Clooney.
But yeah, Smallville is the teen version. Lois and Clark is the adult version. Obviously, it came beforehand, but it was more targeting more adult.
It was the more campy sort of...
Yeah.
It was drama, as opposed to action and what you're used to with comics and that. It was a drama around those characters, and the Lois side of it in particular gave her a lot more of a character than she normally gets represented in a Superman kind of comic, because Superman is such a dominant character in them. So there was certainly some important things, and it certainly did lay the groundwork for later shows. And they talked a lot about when they did the cameo roles in Smallville, Supergirl, and that the people making those shows grew up watching Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
And that's why they're in those episodes, is because the people making it are fans of the show, and it impacted them, and it's obviously impacted the shows in the terms of how they, what they drew inspiration from.
How long did Lois and Clark last?
Ooh, not that long because of the pregnancy, if I remember correctly. Let me see if I can find out.
Like
for
3
you.
years? Just 3 or 4 years. Also, a fun little fact was Terry Hatcher was also a Bond girl in
4 seasons.
4 seasons, yes, that's correct. And yes, Mike, she was a Bond girl. She did talk about Roger Moore is the Bond girl she was with.
No, she was with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, she
Tomorrow
was
Never
in
Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies, correct, yes.
Yes, yeah.
No, she was talking a lot about Roger Moore for some reason.
Yeah, because
She
he'd only
probably
recently
did.
died, so she probably was
Yeah.
talking about him as a Bond, not
Yeah.
being he.
Not being,
Like,
yeah,
she would have
she's
been
not
like
old enough.
5 to be a Roger Moore Bond
She's
girl.
not old enough
No.
to be a Bond girl during Roger Moore era.
And Roger Moore was ancient. Like, all hail
Yeah.
Roger Moore. He was an awesome dude, and like his Bond was amazing. But
Excuse me. Sean
yeah.
Connery.
Oh yeah. Well, anyone playing Bond is good, unless Timothy
That's right.
Dalton.
Yes, I concur.
Hey, I like Dalton.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton, I liked him too.
Actually,
yeah,
no.
one
The
talks about
worst
him.
character on any Bond film was that self-driving BMW.
Yes.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. No, don't go down that path. Don't let me go down that path.
So Terry Hatcher was also in MacGyver, going back to
Oh,
MacGyver.
yeah.
Was she?
She was.
She was in
yeah,
6
yeah,
episodes
she was.
of it as Penny
Fuck.
Parker.
Well, there you go.
Her first thing, though, was The Love Boat. So that's where she
good.
started, and the latest thing she has done is Madness in the Method, which is in post-production.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks, IMDb.
And of course, Desperate Housewives in the middle there somewhere.
that's right.
Yeah, that was her big thing. She talked a lot about the fact that she was once she got pregnant, she wanted to focus on the kids and for them to be her priority. And
Yep.
so both her and Dean Cain talk about the kids being more important than their acting careers, and that's why they dedicated more time to that than acting. Or at least that's what Dean Cain is claiming. I'm not too sure if that's true or not.
Yeah, he's kind of got a hole in his resume for a few years.
Yeah,
So, who knows? Who knows?
Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. and
But he
say it
turned
was for
up
the
in
kids.
more than one of those sci-fi bad movies, though, didn't he? Like, there was, Volcano versus Plane.
Aeroplane vs. Volcano was a great movie.
But he
You have
he
to
was,
watch it if you
he's
haven't
been in
seen
a couple,
it.
hasn't he?
Let's see.
I
Let's
think
see
he was
if we can
in
find.
Mecha Shark or Colossus. Maybe.
The one wasn't he with the one in blah, 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 the Mecha Shark, I think it was.
Yeah.
Dan, did we watch that one? And he was in that one as like the
Aeroplane
boyfriend or
versus
something.
Volcano here. No,
Aeroplane
I
versus
don't remember
Volcano.
him in any of the Mega Sharks.
Okay.
Christopher Judge is in one of them though. He's in
yeah, he was in that
Sharktopus, I think it is.
Sharktopus.
We could do a whole podcast on the whole shark thing. So, Sharknado, Sharktopus, Monster Shark, Mega Shark,
They're
Mecha
great
Shark.
movies. Like,
Yeah. They're the classics.
it's in Sharknado 3. I don't remember him in 3, but apparently he is. And Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. And
Right, there you go. That was the underwater one, right? When there's a submarine shark. Is that Mecha
yes,
Shark?
Mecha Shark
Right.
is the robot version of the
Yeah,
Mega Shark because it was that
yeah.
powerful that they made a robot version. But
Exactly.
the Mega Shark was so strong that it even beat the robot version of itself.
Was the robot a bad version, or was the Mecha? Was it?
I think
play
they
it
lose
out?
control of it or something like
yeah,
that.
right, and
yeah.
it goes crazy.
Um,
I'm
Surely
pretty
the
sure there was a
robot did
sub
bad.
one where she's in the sub and then it gets trapped in, and they were like the Mecha Shark tries to help it or kill it or something. I can't remember.
They're great movies. The storyline is just
fantastic.
so in depth that it is very hard
that's
to
right.
follow.
No, what was my
Your
favourite? The
top 10.
three-headed shark one that had machete in it.
Yeah, there's two-headed shark and
Shit,
three-headed
yeah.
shark, isn't there?
Oh, damn.
Or am I making things up? Yeah, no, two-headed shark attack is there with Carmen Electra.
Oh.
Classics.
What am I missing?
Yeah.
I will be
You'll watch
watching
this
that then.
on Netflix.
So yeah, I assume three-headed shark attack is the sequel to two-headed shark attack. Hopefully
Okay.
there is a four-headed shark attack.
Yes,
I feel like
it's
that's
the natural
only...
sequel to things.
No, but there's a four asses attack, maybe. Four asses shark attack.
We don't know what movies you're watching, Arthur.
Yeah.
For Sharknado, Attack of the Robot Killer Octopus.
But we've already got
Dudes.
Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens.
Oh, dear.
You're not serious, right?
No,
Come on,
that's
man.
the actual title of the movie.
Wow.
Sharknado 5 comes out this year, I believe.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Back to Supanova.
DC Universe. We also had from Arrow,
And Supergirl.
Colin Donnell, Supergirl. He was in a couple of other things as well. Who else do we have down there?
You had the guy from Arrow. What's his name?
That's Colin Donnell.
Merlin.
That's Colin Donnell.
Oh, is
He
it? Okay,
played
right.
he played
Yeah.
Malcolm Merlin's son.
Matt. That's it. That's right.
He also was in a couple of other just normal TV shows like The Affair and Chicago Med, but it's not really relevant to what we're talking about right now. Biff Tannen. Thomas Wilson.
Oh yeah, Biff Tannen. That's right.
I'm looking
Back
at
to the Future.
guest list, and I can see Thomas Wilson there. I'm like, yep, that's there you go.
Now, interestingly enough, Back to the Future. Christopher Lloyd was meant to be there, but had some family
he
problems.
pulled out.
He
One of
didn't
his
make
kids
Sydney,
was sick.
but he was going to make Perth.
Perth. Yeah.
The DeLorean did make it, though. I did see a DeLorean down there.
Oh, nice, nice. So most notably, obviously played Doc Emmett Brown in the Back to the Future series. I'm sure everyone on Earth's seen at least one of those movies, if not all of them, multiple times.
Not to mention that there is the games made by Telltale.
Yes, and if you're an old fart like Arthur or myself, you may have remembered the wonderful, wonderful NES games. So there was a Back to the Future game, and it had nothing to do with the movies. It basically had Marty running up the screen, avoiding dudes carrying panes of glass and kids on skateboards and dogs, and you had to collect clocks. And it was terrible.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it on AVGN anyway.
Yes, and that didn't even have the the dun 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 music. It just had this horrible repeating loop. They kind of redeemed themselves a little bit with Back to the Future 3, which was more of a side scroller and had different bits in it. So on one level you were Doc chasing after the stagecoach to save Clara, and then another level you're shooting the pies with the gun, and it mixed it up a little bit. It was just notable because it was hard as fucking balls. It was really tough to beat that game, but it was much better than the original NES game, and it did have the musical sting that Back to the Future music. So when you fired up the cartridge, you knew exactly what you're in for, rather than some generic branded game that the film company slapped a Back to the Future title on just before Christmas to make some money.
Standard IP game then.
Absolutely. And we, just because they were retro, we weren't immune to having shitty retreads of games just come out to make money. It's all been done before. But yeah, Thomas Wilson would have been awesome to see. He'd be like, Butthead!
Are you chicken?
Make like a tree. Get out of here.
He also did Batman the Brave and the Bold as well, if you remember correctly.
That's right.
He also did
was it
motherfucking
Aquaman?
Wing Commander. So yeah. You know who else was in Wing Commander?
Mark Hamill.
Exactly.
Mark fucking Hamill. The fucking Joker. I've just
It was
annoyed
great,
half
too.
of our audience. Because they were
You
going to
do that
go.
every episode.
Oh, I know. They'd be like, "Oh, he's about to say Mark Hamill was Luke Skywalker." No, fuck that. He was the Joker.
That's right. 10 straight. Power.
Yeah, but yeah, Tom Wilson played Maniac. It was great.
So what else? What else, Dan? Tell us about Supernova. So you had lots of stalls of
Yeah,
geeky stuff,
you've got the King's comics.
memorabilia.
You've got a lot of the vinyl pops and all that kind of stuff around. So you'll find bucket loads of those.
There's the board games.
Board games a little bit there. They're not the biggest thing there. You'll find a lot of the art stalls where you'll find artists drawing. Just as you go up and down the aisles, they'll be drawing while selling other artworks that they've done. So you'll be able to get prints and posters and all that kind of stuff from them. Or you can sometimes sit down and they'll either draw you or something like that for it. Which is always a unique aspect to be able to go up to an artist and not just purchase work that you probably can't find online, but also have your own unique artwork created for you on the spot while you're there. But for me, it's always the panels. I enjoy listening to the panels. I also saw Julie Benz. Most people will know from either Buffy and Angel or Dexter.
Yep.
Rita.
The blondie.
Yep, Dexter's wife. And
That's right.
it's interesting to follow her character in Dexter because she's quite the opposite of Dexter, and that's what makes them such a strong couple in the show. Because whilst Dexter, obviously known for murdering people, he uses her as a cover to be a normal person. So obviously, normally you would have a partner in life and that kind of stuff. Because of his mental issues, I guess we'll say, he doesn't function like most people do, and he doesn't relate and have those relationships like a normal person does. So he uses Rita, played by Julie Benz, as a cover to make it appear as though he is a normal, functioning person, when the reality is he just sees someone who's broken and, been through a lot, that he can pretend all this happens. But you actually see him evolve as a character through that relationship, because whilst it starts out as a cover story, he genuinely learns to actually love her, and obviously they have a son together, and that further grows the character. And so Julie talked a lot about the way that that was all brought together, which is a big contrast to Darla and Angel and Buffy being just a age-old vampire who likes to kill people.
That's right. She was a baddie in Angel, wasn't she? She was like
she's the one who made Angel.
Yes.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
So she was like more powerful than Angel, and just turned up and fucked shit up, and made Angel all like fucked in the head for bits, and kicked Buffy's ass, and yeah, she was pretty cool, and she was mainly seen in flashback scenes, like you'd flashback to where. They'd be in the 1800s or the 1500s or whatever, and they'd be in all that mad period clothing, and they'd be doing just rampant bad stuff.
She was in Buffy as well.
Yeah, she was in Buffy as well.
Darla, that was a character name.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. She started as a vampire in Buffy, and then they ended up putting her more towards the Angel side. She was talking a lot about, she auditioned for the role of vampire number 3 or whatever it was, and that's all the character was literally just a vampire with a number next to it. And her role for the episode she was in was to die at the end of it. And at the end of the episode, Joss Whedon ran in and he's like, hold up, I'm not going to kill you this time. I'm going to give you a name, I'll kill you next episode. And so the next episode came, and she was in that episode, and she was meant to die at the end of that episode. And once again, he ran in and was like, well, hold up. Now we're going to give you a backstory. And it evolved into her actually being an actual character for the show, even though she only auditioned as vampire number whatever.
She was also in Rambo.
That's right. Yeah, Rambo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Rambo 4 or 5, it was. She's the doctor.
She talked a lot about how she thought that was a proper acting environment, because she was in the middle of it, getting down, literally getting dirty. And even though like it was extremely hard work, that's what made it pay off so much, is that she was sweating, getting disgusting, and really getting into an actual movie, not just, you know, putting on a mask and becoming a character. She felt like that was a proper experience and she learned a lot from it. So that was actually pretty interesting as well. The other thing she's from is Defiance. I don't know if anyone watched that before it got cancelled.
A TV show, isn't it?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's the TV show that had the tie-in game. I believe you played that, Dan?
I did play a little bit of it, the MMO. Originally, it came out as a paid MMO. Eventually, it went free to play. May still be going, if I remember correctly.
And they had like grand schemes of Grant Bowler playing obviously the main character, but they had grand schemes of actually having stuff that happened in the game affect what happened in the TV show and vice versa. So it was going to be this whole immersive experience, and it kind of didn't.
It was a very big project for what
It
they were
was. It was an
doing.
experiment, and like kudos to them for trying it, but I don't know that the world was quite ready.
Not so much the world, it's the budget that you need behind that.
Yeah.
They aren't the biggest of studios that were organising all of that. So it meant that the TV show obviously didn't have the same kind of budget as something like Game of Thrones does, and the game didn't have a budget like World of Warcraft has, which means they weren't able to get the full potential out of what they were doing, but it was still quite a good idea, and it's something I would hope happens again at some point. But by watching the show, you could get codes and vote on things, and it related back to the game, even though the timelines were a bit separate. But the game followed the actual TV show, which Grant Bowler and that made appearances in the game, but they weren't a big focus of it. Defiance being a town, I guess, surviving against the odds. It's kind of like a Western with a sci-fi spin on it. Yeah, post-apocalyptic, alien races everywhere, everyone trying to get along and essentially not getting along. But Julie Benz, once again, is a very different role for her. She played the mayor in the town, and it was quite a strong female role. And she talked a lot about how she felt it was an empowering role for her. And it was quite good to have... She had her weaknesses in terms of past experiences. She'd been through a lot as a character, but none of it stopped her being the mayor, doing what she had to. And even though everyone's fighting, trying to take control of the town and all that, she stands strong and stands up to everyone and just goes, look, I'm in charge, you know, listen to what I say and get it done. So I found that, like, yeah, quite a good role for her. It's probably one of her best, because it had a lot more variety to it than the other ones.
Anyone else of note?
Agron from Spartacus was there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't know if anyone watched...
Dan Ferriguru.
Is that from the first Spartacus or from Blood and Sand?
First.
Blood and Sand.
Yeah.
Wasn't it War of the Damned?
There's another one?
Yeah.
So it's,
Apparently.
well, Blood and Sand... I can't remember. It's all the same series, essentially, though.
yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, it's a Spartacus. But he plays Agron, which is one of the Gaelic mercenaries. Sorry.
Germanic.
Germanic, is he?
I think, yeah, Germanic. Yeah, he was Germanic.
It's him and his brother that turn up.
That's right.
And they're kind of like surviving in the arena, you know, trying to get along. And then following the escape, he becomes one of the big characters to help lead
Powerhouse.
all the gladiators, you know, through everything that they're going through.
Loses his hand. Fights on with the shield instead.
But yeah, no, he was quite a strong role. In the past, Liam McIntyre, who was replacement Spartacus, has been there. You'll also know him from The Flash. Not Captain Cold, the Weatherman, wasn't he? Is it the Weatherman?
No.
Was Liam McIntyre? It's not Captain Cold, because that's...
No, that's the other guy from Prison Break.
Weatherman. Was it Weather Wizard?
Weather Wizard, that's who it would have been.
Yeah, he made a brief appearance.
Villain cameos.
Yeah, oh, that's right, yes. Oh, yeah, Mark Martin. Yeah, there he is. He was in the first season and the second season. I think he actually reprised his role. Perhaps. I'm filling in time while I furiously Google
Type it up.
how many episodes he was in the Arrowverse for. So, yeah, it was the Weather Wizard, and it appears he was in a couple of episodes. When I say a couple, I mean 4 in season 1 and fucking half a dozen in season 2, and he's back in season 3. So, yep, he had a fairly largish role, now that we come to think about it. There we go.
And you said there was a Nerf kind of battlefield thing as well. You're talking about, Dan, at the Supernova.
I have no idea what you're
So-
talking about.
A stall of like Nerf guns and stuff. You can play the
Oh,
Nerf blasters.
yeah, there's mostly kids playing that, dude.
Yeah, most of the kids.
This is the kind of thing that I imagine you and like an army
Yeah.
of like 10-year-olds all in there, and
Pretty
you
much.
just
Well,
annihilating them all.
A
One by
while
one.
back, I think it was there was a toy fair in the Homebush as well, which I actually volunteered to work for, and that was there. And so I think this year they didn't do it this year, so they rolled it into Supanova, which is a good idea. And that was pretty much there was two things. There was a big battlefield where you had inflatable, barricades and whatnot, and then you also had like a firing range. And the firing range was really crap because you have all these kids and they'd be shooting the guns, and then you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna pick up the bullets, and they'd shoot you with the bullets, and you'd be like, don't shoot me, kid. And they're like, I'm gonna shoot you, and you just really wanted to punch them. But they're children, so you couldn't. But yes, no, so that I imagine that was really fun. So doing the whole battlefield thing, but that's good for bringing, because parents, the geeky parents bringing kids along, and there's nothing for the kids to do. So that was probably good. That was very busy, was it, Dan?
The Nerf stalls
Yeah.
and that. Yeah, there was one stall it took up a couple of stalls, and it was just guns after guns after guns just lined up. I imagine you would have bought half the store if you were there.
Well, I probably already have probably half the store. Probably could do my own store. I'll bring it in next, Supernova.
Sweet. Now, I just wanted to quickly mention I actually have a personal friend of mine who was in the Author's Alley that was down there as well.
Jeff?
Yeah, it was Jeff, actually.
Yeah,
Jeffrey
yeah.
Doherty. He's the author of the Olivia Stone series. Kids sort of teen books. They're bloody awesome. I recommend everyone get out there and have a look at them. If you've got kids, they'll absolutely eat them up. But Jeff was there. They have I think it was separate this year though, wasn't it? Down in the other side, there was the authors and artists were in a separate section.
Yeah, for the most part, it was a separate section. There was actually quite a few people selling their own books, and you could meet authors and things like that. They did, in fact, have a couple of quite big authors. I believe Brandon Sanderson was there. Aaron, I think you...
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Sanderson is an amazing writer, very young, and was chosen to finish the Wheel of Time series after what's his name died, and his name's just escaped me. Robert Jordan. If anyone doesn't know what the Wheel of Time series is, it's basically like one of the biggest and most detailed fantasy worlds ever written. And if you put all of the books, if you stack them up, they're probably as tall as a 12-year-old child. There is 14 of them, and he died when the 12th book had just been published. So, but the thing is, he wrote them over a period of about 25 years. So there was millions of people in the world that had read something like 500,000 pages this guy had written, and then he just dies. And it's like, there's 2 fucking books left. What the fuck?
How dare he?
Yeah, and I remember when he died, I was like, oh, that's fucking great. That's, I'm never going to get those 12 books of my life back. And they're never going to finish it.
One of the biggest collective blue balls ever, I think.
Yeah, it really was. And he left notes behind, and the estate of the family and his wife sort of started looking around, and they found this author called Brandon Sanderson who had just started a series called Mistborn, which is really, really cool. I won't get into it, but it's another fantasy world. And they read it and they just went, yep, he's going to finish the Wheel of Time. So they grabbed him and went, here's all of Robert's notes. finished the Wheel of Time, and he's like, oh, no fucking pressure then, hey. And he did a fucking excellent job, and I finally can now put that period of my life behind me because of that man. Because
Right.
he went and finished the Wheel of Time series.
It sounds like you should have gone down there and gave him a big hug and like, thanks, man.
Well, look, it's actually kind of funny as well. He does actually bear the same name as my son.
That's right.
So it's very interesting that 17 years ago I named my son Brandon Sanderson, but in more recent times...
There's no relationship or anything like that?
No,
Can't say I'm your
it's
long-lost
just
brother?
completely random. He's American.
You should
so...
try. You should say, I'm your long-lost brother.
Yeah,
and,
I want some of that Wheel of Time money.
That's right, yeah.
But, yeah, and you know, probably 10 years after the birth of my son, I was in a bookshop and I saw a book by this guy, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? This is awesome. And it was the first book of the Mistborn series, and I was hooked ever since. So,
Was it weird getting your blue balls relieved by someone with the same last name?
Yeah, it was a little, yeah. As orcs as that is, Arthur, yeah.
yeah.
But
Thanks, Arthur. Thanks. Yeah.
I would have loved to get him actually to sign one of my copies of
That's right.
what was it? The Wheel of Time, the Tower, book.
Stormlight Archive,
Um,
Mistborn. Those are the three.
You give it to your
ones.
son. Say, this is you from the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it is. A Memory of Light was the first book. Oh no, the last book. Sorry. That Brandon Sanderson wrote. So yeah, he wrapped the series up with A Memory of Light, and I would have loved to get a signed copy off him, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. There was a couple of other...
This is the thing everyone worries about, like Game of Thrones and The Song of Ice and Fire. It's just like George R. R. Martin's gonna cock it long before.
Well, his health isn't the greatest.
No, he
He's a
looks
giant
like
fat guy, so
looks like he lives the Robert Baratheon kind of lifestyle, drinking the wine and eating
Rest plate stretcher.
Exactly. But
haven't they taken the books away? They've branched off and done their own.
No, he had a press release not long ago, and he said, "I'd like to keep releasing Wheel of Time, Game of Thrones books until I die." And I'm like, "Well, fuck, that's 1.5 more books. Great."
Well, Game of Thrones was originally meant to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
And then the theory is now that there will be 1 book per house, which they were thinking it would be 8 books in total.
Okay.
That's the current theory behind it all.
is it already increased from the 7 books that
Yes.
he was gonna finish?
Yeah.
Probably.
Apparently there's a 8th house and 8th book.
Well, he knows how it's
Supposedly.
going to end, and he's always said that he's told the guys at HBO how it's going to end and how he wants the TV show to end.
Yeah, but I see. The more I watch of the show, the more I think that's total bullshit.
Well, it's getting further and further away from what happened in
Well,
the books, and it's...
I don't think so. I think he does know what happens, and I think it's very simple. Everyone dies. The end. That's his end of the book.
There's no Joss Whedon running in going, no, wait, I'm going to keep you on. He's like, he runs on there, you die, and then you die, and then death for everybody.
Like, it's obviously not. Yeah, it obviously can't be like. They can't just kill everyone, and it's obviously not going to be a super happy ending. Like, it's going to be bittersweet.
Maybe it's going to be like Highlander. There can be only one.
That's going to be what the ending is.
But no, I was poking around on the forum, and I did actually come across a mock-up for the next cover of his next book, and it was just called "Yes, This Guy Dies Too" by George R. R. Martin.
You know what's retarded? Like, he kills less people in the books than the show does at this point. Like,
Yeah,
the
but
show's
the show-
killed a whole bunch of characters.
show
that are
kind of-
still alive.
In the first couple of seasons, and then we all know what happens at the end of the first season. I won't spoil it for the 3 people that haven't seen Game of Thrones. But the show is renowned, and it got its fame for everyone going, "Oh my god, you've killed off my favourite character."
That's right.
And so the TV guys just went, "Fuck it, kill everyone."
That's right.
See, now they're in a race for getting to the ending. The seasons have noticeably gotten a lot shorter. Now you've got an 8-episode season and then followed by a 7-episode season.
They've
Yeah,
also
so-
been a lot worse.
Well, it's become more action-oriented rather than
Yeah.
the drama side, and that's related to the fact that they're no longer going off the books. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah, you
don't
can
have
tell.
It wasn't
certain.
very well choreographed.
And you can tell that they're not going off the books because that intrigue and all of the weaving storylines just kind of went blah.
Like, here's the thing: the action in the show has never been that good.
Although that last battle with Jon Snow, when all of the guys and the horses
was
were riding at
okay.
him, that was
It was
pretty cool.
okay.
That was Ramsay
It was
Bolton.
nicely like gritty, but it was still just an okay battle.
Eh,
As far as like,
I
as
mean,
far
for
as portraying a battle in the Middle Ages style,
yeah,
it's okay.
but for a TV show, a weekly TV show, it's pretty fucking
I
pretty
actually
good.
thought that the siege of King's Landing in like the season whatever it was,
3 or 4 or something like
2, I'm pretty sure.
that. Shit.
Oh,
was-
when they
was
set the
Greek
harbour
fire.
on fire.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Now-
a Greek fire.
Now
It wasn't
random.
as large scale as the like Jon Snow versus Dumbfuck McGee, but
Ramsay Bolton.
yeah, that guy.
Now, random tangent, if I may, just for a moment to hijack this conversation. Speaking of the Battle of King's Landing in season 2, there's a great fan made video of the Steam summer sale, and it was basically that explosion, just with 50% off, 20% off, 100% off, and Gaben rising out.
Yeah.
Now,
I remember
the
that.
reason I bring that up is because the Steam summer sale has been confirmed and is dropping on the 22nd of this month, June, in America. So prepare your wallets for a spanking again. We do have a new Steam sale.
Yay!
Yay!
Lots
Time
of
to-
games I'll never play. Woo!
Exactly. Time to buy 20 more games I'll never play. But
And that you've
what
never
I've
heard
been
of.
wanted. Yeah. So all praise Lord Gaben.
Who
Yes.
everyone hates now, apparently.
Yeah,
Steam went from being the savior of all platforms to a pile where everything just gets lumped on itself, and now you can't find anything in that pile.
and paid mods. No one wants paid mods. Paid mods aren't paid mods. That's DL fucking C.
Except Steam. Steam wants paid.
Yeah, well, Steam just wants money.
That's right. Back to Supanova, who wants money. What about Stephen Young, Glenn from Walking Dead? Did you catch any of him?
No, I didn't actually.
That's a
He's got
shame.
a new project, and that's why he was there, trying to do it. I haven't actually seen much about the project. Have you guys
Yeah.
seen? It's
No,
called
not really.
Oakja.
Yeah.
Oakja? I don't know if it's a soft,
Okia.
soft J, like yogging.
Yoggin. Can I have some more Yoggin, please?
Obviously, Mike
Well,
hasn't
yes.
seen Anchorman.
Anyway.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't get.
Silent Jane. Yeah, I kind of remember that, I suppose.
It's the most
Number one,
devastating moment
should
of this
I know?
podcast.
I love Lamp.
This could be the moment, like the podcast ends.
Keep your fucking in jokes to yourself.
But I love Lamp.
Arthur's homework for next episode is to
That's
watch
right.
Anchorman.
Watch.
I don't even fucking like
One or two?
fucking that. I don't even find it that funny. It's all just whatever.
Best is when they had the news anchor fight. They were all like, and then Steve Carell's walking around with the grenade. He's like, ah!
Brick killed a guy.
Good times. Yeah.
There was horses and a trident and a man on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Good times. Yeah.
So nobody's seen Oak Jar?
Oak, yeah.
Oak.
Let's just call it Okia.
No. I haven't.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
what
yeah.
the
Probably
fuck it
okay,
is.
yeah. Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Well, we will. Well, that's something our viewers can look up to, and they can say, okay, yeah.
Chirp, chirp.
No more cutting.
It's got that guy in it. What's his name again?
Stephen Yun.
No,
Oh,
the
the
tall
other
guy,
guy.
the other guy.
White
Yeah.
Bong
I
Joon
can't-
Ho.
No, it's not the white guy.
the
I'm almost
fuck?
certain that's not the
He's,
white guy.
He's been in a few things. Where is he from? He's
Well,
from
I remember
Supanova.
him from Looper and.
Terrible movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
Looper
remember
sucked.
Looper.
I love how you're always like hating on things, and then you're like, "Hey, Looper!" Like
That's
was a
right.
terrible movie.
It was okay.
Yeah, well, I
Bruce
remember
Willis.
it because it was bad enough to remember. That's ultimately the point.
Is that like the moral for your life? Like, if it's bad enough, you'll remember it.
I remember good things and bad things. Obviously, all the mediocre shit gets left in the middle somewhere. That's the whole
He has
point. Like,
not the
no one
capacity.
remembers. The worst thing you can be is in the middle, like generic or bland or boring. Like
I'd rather be not shit personally, but that's just me.
Well, hey,
like
people win Razzies, mate.
no one
Someone's got to.
remembers the just boring everyday things.
Yeah,
Someone's
but
got to ring the Razzie.
you don't want to be remembered
raspberry.
as the Cash Me Outside girl.
Well, she's making money.
Absolutely. Look, if I could make that kind of money, I'd be Cash Me Outside. How about
Yeah, I
that?
suppose.
Fucking on
Yeah.
call.
We'll get you on
Yeah.
Dr. Phil then.
Excellent.
So,
Maybe-
Aaron, you love this guy, Brandon. Let's bring him outside.
Now,
Catch me outside.
Cash Me Outside.
How about that?
Did we talk about Aaron Zek yet? The
Aaron
chickie-
Zet, yeah.
the
The
chickie from Ruby?
Ruby. I don't believe so.
All right, you
I
better
believe
do
you
that
just
one, Deb.
started watching it though.
Absolutely. So, in my comprehensive lead up
episode.
and study for the podcast this week, Dan made me watch Ruby, which I haven't watched before. And while I was watching it, my son apparently has seen it all, and I had no fucking idea. But anyway, it's a Japanese anime done by white guys. It's pretty fucking cool.
Or Roochies. Is it Roochies?
Yeah, it's a
Um,
Rooster Teeth product.
Yeah. So it's about, your standard female protagonist with a massively oversized and overpowered weapon, which for some reason she doesn't need a permit for, and it's okay to carry around downtown Japan. But I digress. The animation
She learnt it
style-
in school. So
Right,
in
oh.
high school, she was learning how to use a dangerous weapon.
Right, okay. Awesome.
Big axe thing.
Yeah, it's a fucking
It's a
dirty,
scythe.
great big
Scythe.
axe.
That's right.
It's a scythe and a gun at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a
And
handy combination.
so the chickie, I'm assuming this Aaron Zek is the chickie that voices Ruby Rose?
No.
I've only seen an episode and a half, I must admit, and I'm kind of actually quite interested. I'm really drawn in by the cel-shaded graphic style that they have, that kind of almost computer animated look.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
simple and it brings out the colors. Colors are a prominent theme in Ruby. So the title is actually spelled RWBY, not RUBY. The main character's name is Ruby, RUBY, which is a little bit confusing. But
Because
the
Japan.
I know why they
RWBY.
did it too.
Tell us, Arthur. Tell us why.
Well, this is similar to when bands on purposely misspell their names.
No.
Apparently, it's to get more hits on the internets.
That
Because
is
obviously, if you just
completely
call
wrong.
the Ruby, then if you type in Ruby in the search box, you'll just get Ruby shit, like normal spellings. But if you type RYBY, presumably it's go straight to that. Anime.
Okay.
So
That's the theory behind it, anyway.
Ruby
Oh, it's a
comes from
marketing
the name of the people in the team. So Ruby being the captain of the team that she forms. Then you've got Weiss Blake, who is Aaron Zetch, and Yang, which is Ruby's sister. So that's Team Ruby, and the other team is Team Juniper, which is JNPR, which has John, Pyrrha, Ren, and Nora in it.
What about that cool witch chickie that's in the first episode? What's she do?
So you've got she's one of the teachers at the, I guess, university-like thing that Ruby goes to. So she's just there at the start to save Ruby pretty much, and that's how Ruby starts on her path. And they're fighting Cinder is the
Jewel thief.
yeah, there's the jewel thief there whose name always escapes me. But the person fighting in the plane with him is Cinder, who becomes quite a strong character in
Right.
that.
Then she gets accepted to go to school, which is a more dangerous school, but I really don't know how that can be because their other school was teaching her how to use this fucking scythe. But
It's kind of like going from high school to university.
university.
I guess.
Okay,
And
so she's gone to kick an ass university.
yeah, she wants to be a huntress, which are
Right.
people
That's what
that
the
are out
chickie
there
was at the
to-
start. And they were all like, "It's a fucking huntress," and she was
Yeah.
like just ice storming this fucking helicopter thing. It was really cool. But I have to make an observation though, and I watch a fair bit of anime, and I'm pretty sure now that Japan is just full of schools and teachers. There's no one else in any anime. Now, what very, very few animes don't have your main character as a school child. And then they have a school and teachers. And I mean, I guess the only...
Missing the tentacles.
No, oh, well...
Different anime.
All the
different
ones I
anime.
watch seem to have tentacles in them.
Sounds like anime, spelt like hentai. Anyway, I was going to say about the only character that isn't a school teacher would be Gendo from Neon Genesis Evangelion, and he spends the whole time just going, "Get in a fucking robot, Shinji." And Shinji should have been at school, but he was a little bitch, so he ran away from school as well.
You're selling it well.
I really... I'm not Japanese, so I can't get in the mindset of the Japanese culture. But
Jip jap.
Because you're from the era of Douglas MacArthur, so of course you don't fucking know.
Dude, why the fuck are they all in school? And they're all kids. Like, I don't understand. But, Ruby, keeping with the grand anime tradition of putting them in a school and having teachers and then kicking shit's ass, looks really cool.
It's the start of her journey, and that's why
Right.
school is an early theme. It's not like they move on from that. They do branch out and go other directions later on. Blake actually separates from the group to do her own storyline, and yeah, it's there's a lot to it for such a small... The episodes are only 5 minutes long, so you can literally binge watch a series in like an hour or two. It's not very hard to watch a full season of it. There's 3 seasons so far. Unfortunately, the creator of the show, Monty did pass away after the 2nd season, but they've kept it going in his spirit since then. That actually came from Red vs. Blue, which is where Rooster Teeth actually started off back in the early 2000s. I think they've been going for about 15 years now, off the top of my head. But Red vs. Blue being the Halo machinima that they started in Blood Gulch. Just a couple of characters they used inside the game, voicing over it, and that's now become a huge 15-season show, still going on Netflix. They created a Japanese version for it as well, if I remember correctly, and Microsoft themselves even used it for advertising at one point.
Also, there's plenty of anime not set in high school.
I know,
Yeah.
but most of it is.
Yeah. It's just like, I think, but funnily enough, like the most famous probably, I mean, the ones that I really remember, none of them were set in high school. Like I remember Techno Man, definitely not set in high school. Astro Boy, definitely not set in high school.
Well, he
Astro
was
Boy is so
school-aged child, though.
Yeah, but it's not the memes of like a high school kid and teachers and
Yeah.
that whole.
What about Akira?
Yeah, Akira, exactly. Ghost in the Shell.
No. Yeah.
Basically anything from the side of like the Studio Ghibli films. I don't think how many of them.
So good.
Kiki's
Very
delivery
few.
service.
Hmm?
Kiki's delivery service. She was just out of which school? So she was still a teenager. You had
Spirited Away,
My Friend Totoro.
My Neighbor.
My Neighbor
Neighbor
Totoro,
Totoro.
sorry. The kids were meant to be at school, but their mum was sick, so they weren't at school.
But they had a cat bus, and
The
that's
cat bus
amazing.
was fucking awesome.
Why
Um,
don't we have them in real life?
You know,
Why
I
has someone
discovered
not made
Marin
this?
has never watched any of the Studio Ghibli films.
Oh my
What?
god.
I know.
They're
Like-
amazing.
Download the full pack.
Like
and
here,
go
I'll
watch it.
quickly trivia. I'll ask one question, Studio Ghibli style. What was the only animated film to ever win an Academy Award or an Oscar?
Grave of the Fireflies?
No.
Should have. It's the most amazing film ever. If you want to cry for hours and hours, watch that film.
Yes, it's a highly depressing film.
It is the
Anyone
most
else?
depressing thing you'll ever see, but
I mean,
it's amazing for
mind
it.
you should watch it because
It's Studio Ghibli. It's a Miyazaki film, and
But
they
even
should be
beyond that-
required learning. Like when you get to year 3, they should just sit you down and make you watch them all.
Grave of the Fireflies takes on like a very serious topic, and it looks at something that probably isn't covered so well,
Mm.
especially from a Western point of view. the bombings of Hiroshima just isn't something that we cover how they went through it. It's all great for us to show Americans bombing Hiroshima and, you know, stopping the war and all that kind of stuff, but we don't really see much of the impact. Grave of the Fireflies talks about the children losing their families, living on the streets, that kind of stuff.
For people. You know, I caught that by accident on SBS as like I was quite young as well, and I was watching. I was like, yeah, anime, yeah, Studio Ghibli, yeah, this will be fun.
No.
Why?
Fail.
Why is there so much pain in my soul?
It is, yeah, probably the saddest thing I've ever seen.
It's pretty sure it's Spirited Away.
Yes, Arthur has got it in one. It's Spirited Away won best animated film.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's also the one that's always like whenever. It's nearly always the first one people discover from them.
Yeah, because it's the most accessible one, I guess, to the Western world.
There's also Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, Princess Mononoke was pretty cool.
See, that one people always discover later. Because when I watched Spirit, I'm pretty sure I watched Spirited Away first. I might have seen another by accident beforehand, but I didn't know it was a Ghibli film.
Yeah, and my personal favourite's got to be Porco Rosso.
See, I started with Totoro. Totoro is where I started with Ghibli, and it's a great point. Like, even though it's probably more oriented towards children and that, it's still an amazing watch for the artwork and just the feel of the movie. But they also have a video game.
Do they?
Ni no Kuni. Ni no Kuni is a Japanese role-playing game. It's a very long Japanese role-playing game, as most of them are. It won awards, or it got highly rated at the very least. I played a little bit of it, and it was quite amazing.
Legend says that people are still playing it to this day. In one playthrough.
The tales tell of the one hero who will finish the game.
Yeah. He's doing a speedrun.
10 years to the day, he's still going.
Oh, yes. So, I just wanted to quickly bring something up. I've been looking at the Supanova lineup, and there's an artist called Paul Abstruse that's just hidden away in the middle there, and his claim to fame is he's actually an artist for the My Little Pony comic books.
Your favourites, I believe?
No, I'm not a brony. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Wait, the comic books or the animation? Like the new animation?
Arthur's quite into it.
I guess, was there many alternative... Oh, fuck. Alright, is there many fairies at Supanova?
Not that I saw. I'm sure if you turned up there would have been, but...
Hey.
I don't think fairies are very big in Australia.
There's no... Well, then,
there is. There is, apparently.
Yeah, the EB Games Expo a couple of years ago, there was interestingly enough, it was a guy who dressed as a fox fairy, but he had the ruby scythe. And he was in the cosplay competition.
Did you ask him what does the fox say?
No. Because he was bigger than Mike, and I was like, nah, fuck that. This guy is fucking huge. And plus, yeah. Anyway, no.
I don't know. I like the sound of you fighting a guy in a
I just wanted to bring up the whole My Little Pony thing, because like that is the weirdest fandom on Earth, and it's like, why?
It's not really that weird, because the show is actually quite a good show. Like, it's not.
What's your favorite moment in it, Arthur?
No, I'm not a brony, but like I do think the animation and like from the few bits that I've seen in the show, it's like I can see why people like it so much.
Which one's your favorite?
Rainbow Dash.
Everyone knows Rainbow Dash. It's the only one anyone fucking knows.
I don't know Rainbow Dash. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I know that there's ponies and rainbows, and that's literally my extent of knowledge of that show.
They're multicolored.
You'd probably become a brony if you fucking watch that shit.
Yeah, dress up
what
as
is
a
a brony?
unicorn and shit.
Yeah.
One of the characters that we haven't, not characters, one of the guests that we haven't spoken about was John Jarrett. Everyone's Australian favourite.
Murderer.
Pig on a stick.
Shit on a stick. Shit on a stick.
Shit on a stick?
Yeah, he said shit on a stick. Pretty sure he said shit on a
I
stick.
thought it was pig on a stick.
No, I think
Everyone's
he's like,
favourite
you know what we
murdering
call that?
gardener.
Shit on the stick.
And funnily enough,
Yes,
was a host on Better Homes and Gardens before.
Yeah, that's why I meant.
That's right. Yeah.
Before doing, Wolf Creek and scaring the shit out of the world. This quiet dude who just gardened and shit then turned into this crazy fucking serial killer.
Head on a stick.
Head on a stick.
Head on a stick. That's it. Head on a stick.
That's his secret to good garden mold.
Did you see any of John Jarrett?
He's always there. He's not like the big stars of that. He's literally every year I've gone, I've seen him there.
Like, what, $30, wasn't it, Dan? It was like $30 last time.
I've seen it for 20 at times. You just literally walk up and get a selfie with him. He's like, give me $20 and also
Yeah, give me $5. Whatever you've got on there.
Do you need some gardening
Creek
tips?
Thing?
I see him there, and I was like, because the first time I saw him there, I was like, oh, I should go get a photo with him. And they're like, oh yeah, it's $20. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And walked off.
So really quickly, we mentioned that it costs money to have your photo taken with all of these guys.
Yep.
What are the top name, like the first string guys charging to get a photo or a autograph, or is it different?
Look, it's going to depend on the star. I'm not sure how they work it out. Chris Hemsworth is probably one of the more expensive ones that I have seen there. I'm not too sure what kind of bumped it up. Often a bunch of stars from a show will appear, Stargate being a very key one. In the past, I had Jason Momoa and Christopher Judge in the same photo.
Aquaman.
Aquaman, and yep.
And he's, funny note, I'm the same size as Aquaman.
No, he's a
Yeah.
fucking solid guy.
He's solid, but I'm the same height and stuff. And it was like, little Christopher Judge is a small man.
Like, you look at Jason Momoa and Christopher Judge and you go, yeah, they're very large, like well-built people. You stand between the two of them and you feel like a very small person.
I didn't.
Have you actually Have you seen that photo of Jason Momoa with his bodyguards, and they look like mini bosses? That you've got to fight before you get to Jason Momoa. I love that photo. And it's like, why are you two even there? Like, Jason Momoa will just headbutt you to death. Like, it's
In saying that, I saw MMA fighter Mark Hunt posted a video of his...
What was his name? Can you say that really quickly?
Mark Hunt.
Mr. Hunt.
Samoan, isn't it? Samoan Hunt?
Damn it.
The Super Samoan is his nickname, but he posted a video of all his bros doing the haka, because he's a Kiwi.
Yep.
And in that was actually Jason Momoa was part of his crew in the back. Jason Momoa looks small compared to all of them. So...
It's because he was at the back.
Well, it's got nothing to do with that.
He was like 10 feet behind everyone else. So there's like a Peter Jackson, like Hobbit,
it's
Lord of the Rings perspective kind of shot. And you've got,
He's actually 10 feet tall, like George Washington was.
Yes. Yeah. Breathes fire out his ass. Shoot lightning bolts out of my ass.
He'll save children, but not the British.
So Supanova is a good thing to do, good thing to watch, good thing to see. Dan, you'd say you'd have it going there again?
Yeah, I normally go most years when I can. Obviously, it depends on who's going and, time frames and all that. But the other thing to remember is that it's not just one city or that. They will normally pair them up. So you'll find Melbourne and Gold Coast, Sydney and Perth, that kind of thing for it. So always keep an eye out throughout the year. Depending on who you're looking for, they'll probably go to one of those events at some point.
Yeah, save up some money so you can get a photo with the big guy.
Yeah. So what's the next big event? Would that be PAX?
You've got PAX and Comic-Con for me.
September.
And EB Games Expo if you're in Queensland.
Yeah, Comic Con for Sydney is in September, and PAX is in Melbourne in start of November, off the top of my head.
Oh, actually, is everyone aware that Adam West passed away? Massive
Yes.
loss to the pop culture world. Younger listeners will know him only as Mayor Adam West from the
Mirror Adam West. Meg, touch my hands.
from Family Guy. But he was in fact Batman, and some say the
That's right.
best Batman. It was really, really cool. Was it Chicago? Actually made a bat signal and fired it up on the wall of their city hall in honor of Adam West. It was
That's nice.
fucking really cool. They're like, but I'm interested that they had a bat signal. It's like, what are they not telling us?
Where is their money going? Yes.
It's just like someone.
What about Ben Affleck? Didn't he do a little tribute? And he dressed up as a Adam West character thing? I don't know. I didn't read the full thing.
No, nor did I. I should have.
He did something. I think he dressed up as something.
No, it was L.A. Sorry, it was on the L.A. City Hall.
What's important is that we're all very informed.
Yeah. Adam West. Adam West. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Soap. This is an episode where we were talking about Supanova, and I will catch you guys next week and catch you on the flip side.
Do it now.
Listen to me. Come on. It's time to go. Because I'm Adam West. Meg, I want your hands in my pants. It's my chocolate.
Thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to like us, subscribe to us, and contact us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We are here for you. Please let us know what you'd like to hear, and any suggestions we will definitely get around to looking at, maybe talking about.
You know what I really liked? I looked at the list of all the stars, and a lot of them had this little note on the thing that said, it only costs $30 if you are willing to take a selfie with your own camera. Just like, that's kind of hilarious to me.
So Dan went to Supanova. He's talking about Dean Kane and Lewis Lane.
And then Skrillex did a song on it. And
It went
Yeah,
wah
yeah.
wah 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 wah.
Oh, hang on, guys. I think I hear my car alarm. Oh, no, it's only Skrillex.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So you've never seen Avengers, you've never seen Stargate, you've never seen...
No, I don't know any of these things. I only like esoteric things that no one else knows or understands.
Like My Little Pony.
Yeah, there's My Little Pony there, and you've said fuck all about it. Could have done half an hour with you on My Little Pony, what got you into it, who your favourite is, how you enjoy dressing up as what your favourite
Rainbow
artwork
Dash.
on the
Rainbow
wall
Dash.
is.
Love it.
The
Floxy Loxy looks like I would have wanted to see her.
You would have seen plenty of her if you saw her, I'm sure.
I'm okay with that, I think.
She looks both Floxy and Loxy.
She does. She's looking very World of Warcraft in her photo, though.
That's right. Who was the
else?
hottest cosplayer, Dan? Who was the
Everyone
hottest
wants to
cosplayer?
bang an elf. You just judge them from a distance. So,
No.
Judge them quietly.
I always judge the shitty ones. Like when someone does a really shitty job, I always go, "You suck."
That was shit.
especially if it's like a 5-year-old child.
It's
You
too
suck,
short.
child.
Yeah.
Just to traumatize them for life. That's your goal.
Fuck. Something went terribly, horribly wrong just then.
He uttered the words "My Little Pony,"
And then
Stopped
my
it.
computer shut down. Yeah. The Rainbow Dash is my fucking favourite. Rainbow Dash. No, Sparkle's better. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah, totally don't.
I think we need to stop the insanity.